Okay, we are here in Kilmallock. I am with the news editor of the Limerick Leader, Aine Fizgerald. Aine, how are you getting on?
Good, Owen. How are you doing?
Very well. I see your byline all across the Limerick Leader. You want to show everyone at home what you're leading with on the front of the Leader this morning.
Yes, well, this week we were out on Monday evening in Kanturk with former Cork hurler Aidan Walsh and former Limerick goalkeeper Joe Quaid. So I actually travelled out myself, and obviously there was great crack, great banter. Joe happens to have a pub in the middle of Kanturk. Now, unfortunately, he opened it just before COVID struck, so he's been unlucky. He's had 2 closures. Now he's open. It's an All-Ireland final. It's against Cork, so I suppose it's the stuff of dreams, really, because there's great banter, great crack going on at the moment.
Yeah, that seems to be the big thing. For people at home who are unfamiliar with Kilmallock, we are in the heart, I guess, of the Limerick Cork border, which I didn't realise this is like almost disputed territory. Like listening to the radio this morning on Live 95, I heard this scurrilous accusation that Charleville is actually half in Limerick. And you're telling me this is actually the truth?
Well, there's some townlands that are on the border, we'll say. I won't exactly say that they're in Limerick or one way or the other, but they're half and half in some areas. So Charleville is only about 6 miles back the road, and once you go over Garry and Jerk Bridge, you're into Cork territory. But Charleville is a town that an awful lot of local people from Kilmallock work in, so there's great banter going on there as well. A lot of Limerick people live in Charleville as well, so yeah, I would imagine that there's a lot of pub talk going on at the moment and a lot of hype and banter and all the rest.
What's your take on Corkness and their general sense of I don't want to say arrogance, but their general sense of confidence, even if they're underdogs this weekend?
Now, in fairness, you know, they often say Cork is the real capital and all that, but I have to say, to give them their dues, in the run-up to this match, I think they're being very modest.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're really keeping their cards close to their chest. They're not really, I have heard very few of them saying that they're going to win, and that's possibly tactics and a bit of the Donlow cues going on there. But, obviously they know they're in with a chance. They're in with a big chance. In Limerick, by no means do we think that there's anything etched in stone. There isn't. There's nothing on the McCarthy Cup for 2021 yet. And, Limerick people, we had 45 years of a famine, so we're not silly enough to think that this is in the bag by any means. There's an awful lot of hype about Limerick and about the Limerick machine and that this team are unbeatable. But, in fairness to the players themselves, not for 1 second do they even believe that about themselves. They know that they're a very good team, but on any given day, sport is sport, and if you don't perform, if you're not mentally on track, and if your mind isn't in the right place, and you come up against a team like Cork, you'll be in trouble, if you're going in thinking that this is in the bag.
Yeah, for sure, and that probably underpins actually a good bit of the caution that I found anyway over the last few hours being around Limerick. So that's your front page. You've got Aidan Walsh and Joe Quaid going toe-to-toe. How was Aidan Walsh feeling about this week from speaking to him?
Aidan was good. Look, unfortunately, obviously, Aidan, I don't think he necessarily retired, but he's no longer playing with Cork. And so I think it is, he didn't say anything, obviously, but just on body language, I think it's tough. Obviously, anyone would love to be there, playing, especially someone who's given so much to Cork in hurling and football. So I think, people will be thinking of the likes of Aidan Walsh and other hurlers who might have missed out marginally on panels, not to be out there in Croke Park on an All-Ireland final day. It's hard. But obviously he's hoping for a Cork win. He'd love it, more than anything. And he was having a bit of crack, and I asked him would he go into Joe's afterwards for a pint, and he said he hadn't thought of it, but he possibly will. And he has a hurley making company himself in Kanturk, Aidan Walsh Hurleys, give them a plug. And he said a number of the Cork hurlers will actually have his hurleys on the day as well.
Right.
So that's a nice little thing for him as well. So yeah.
It's first 7-8 pages of the Limerick Leader, I think, this week, all focused on the game itself, and then a sports section on top of that.
Supplement.
Right. What's Shane Dowling, his column inside, who's he tipping?
Yes, well, Shane is always very much keeping his cards close to his chest. I suppose he just feels that if Limerick play, it should be theirs if they play to their potential. But no one is obviously thinking that this is a given, that Limerick will win, that Cork are, they're a really good up-and-coming side. They've youth on their side, they're fast. They're Cork, so they know how to hurl, and they're really going to be a big, big test for Limerick. And as I said, if Limerick aren't in the right headspace, they could be in trouble, there's no doubt.
So outside of Kanturk, where else were you this week?
So we were all over the place, to be honest. We have stories with former hurler Stephen McDonough. We have a piece with Gary Kirby and his wife. Gary obviously is a former All-Star from Patrickswell, and Gary's wife Carmel happens to be from Kinsale. So there's a lot of banter going on in that house. So we have a picture of Carmel in her Cork jersey and Gary and the three children in their Limerick jerseys. And they're obviously three very, very sporty children as well. No, they're not children, they're 22, I think, in their late teens. But yeah, great rivalry going on, but there's no way that the kids can be swayed to shout for Cork at all. So it's stories like that are great, where you have a mixed household. Joan Lowe Cusack's sister is married to the chairman of Ula GA Club as well. Okay. So more rivalry in that household. So yeah, as I said, there's great. The thing about All Ireland weeks for the Limerick Leader is it's a great chance to get out into the community and find stories that you didn't even think were out there. You learn a bit more about family connections, and we have another great story from Kilmallock as well about a young family, 3 kids in a young family, the O'Dwyers, and they don't have tickets for the match, so they painted out on the ground that they're looking to JP to give them tickets. So watch this space. There might be news on that in the coming days. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, so it was another quirky story as well.
Yeah, I think JP has worked many a miracle, but trying to solve the problems of all the people, all the genuine fans without tickets this week, I think actually may be beyond Mr. McManus. You know the way in all the newspapers before tournaments they have a big pull-out for the way the tournament will go. I think there is a market for the next Cork versus Limerick game for the Limerick Leader to do a pull-out, but instead of a wall chart of who's playing who, a family tree. Because everybody is related. Everybody is somebody's cousin. Every page I turn around, it's like, that guy's related to that guy.
English is first cousin of Dara Fitzgibbon, so that's a great one. That's so, first cousins playing, tugging out or whatever. We don't know the teams yet, but on an All-Ireland Sunday, it's just, it's just unheard of, I suppose. It's just so quirky. But it's family connections like that. Yeah. You could have brothers married across the border to Cork women, and, families being split, so to speak, because of the rivalries.
So what's your idea of next week's front page? Do you think it'll be Declan Hannon with Liam in hand?
Yes, I would hope so. Look, as I said, we just don't know yet, but when we have an All-Ireland win, which we've had fortunately in 2018 and in December, we do what we give the front page, we give the works on the front page, so you'd be talking about a full picture covering the entire page, and we're lucky to have had 2 of those of Declan Hannon in the last 4 years. So please God, everything crossed, that will be Declan again. That would be the ultimate dream. And we never, in Limerick, I suppose, we're so used to defeats that we don't take it for granted for 1 second, And in relation to Cork, if they were to win, it's the best team will win on the day, and no one would begrudge them, but obviously we hope it's Limerick.
Yeah, that's classic graciousness, T-minus 4 days from the match. We'll see how you feel at 5 o'clock on Sunday. It looks like a brilliant edition. I can't wait to read it properly over the next few days. Congratulations on that, Anya, and enjoy Sunday.
Cheers, thank you very much.